Hello everyone, it's me Sanjay Vasu back again for another video, this time on Stage 8 Mathematics Paper 1 for Cambridge Secondary 1 Progression Test. Let's start. Question 1. What are the missing numbers in the boxes? 462 plus dash equals 849. Subtract 462 from 849 and we get the answer 387. B. 713 minus dash equal to 448. We just need to subtract 448 from 713 and we get the answer 265. Question 2. Calculate 7 minus 2.4 plus 0.36. 7 minus 2.4 is equal to 4.6 and we add 0.36, that's equal to 4.96. So that's the answer. Question 3. Look at the shapes. Take all the shapes that are congruent. Congruent means that they are exactly the same in angles and in lengths of their sides and in numbers of sides, numbers of angles. These two diamonds are actually exactly the same, just one is rotated 90 degrees to form the other. Question 4. Work out A. 4 cubed. The answer is 64. B. Root 121. The answer is plus or minus 11. Why am I writing plus or minus? Because even negative 11, when we square the whole thing, negative into negative is positive, so it's still 121. Positive 11 squared is obviously 121, and that's why we can write both positive or negative 11. Question 5. Write the missing numbers in the spaces. 147 into dash equals 1.47. The answer is 0.01 because we are multiplying by a decimal to get a smaller number. 32.9 divided by dash is 329. Answer is 0.1 because we have a divide by symbol and when we divide by a decimal number, we get a bigger number. Question 6. Here's the signpost. Paris, 8 kilometers. Jane passes this signpost. How many miles is Jane from Paris when she passes this signpost? So we know that 1 mile is equal to 1.6 kilometers. So 8 kilometers, which is 1.6 into 5, is equal to 1 into 5 miles. And that's the answer. Question 7. Orina asked the students in the class if they are left or right-handed. She started to show her results in a two-way table. Use the information given to complete Orina's two-way table. So first, we can see that there are two values in the total. Total is 29 and girls is 15, so we have boys 14. Right-handed, we don't know. Left-handed is 10, total is 14. That's why we have 4 over here. Total is 7, boys is 4, so girls is 3 in right-handed. Left-handed, we don't know how many goes. And in right-handed goes are 3, total are 15, which are 12 left-handed goes. And total left-handed people is 10 plus 12, which is 22. So that's the answer. Question 8. Take all the fractions that are equivalent. 9 by 28, 3 by 8, 24 by 64, 21 by 54, 15 by 40. Number 1, 3 by 8, when you multiply it by 5, both the numerator and denominator, we get 15 by 40. So we can take both of these. And are there any more? Yes. If you multiply both the numerator and denominator by 8, we get 24 by 64. And so we have 3 equivalent fractions. Question 9. Look at these triangles. Take the triangle that has a hypotenuse of length 13 centimeters. Think of the word hypotenuse. A right angle triangle has a hypotenuse, an adjacent, and an opposite. In case you don't know what they are just simply the sides of a right angle triangle, where the adjacent and opposite are actually just the two other sides, like this. Why am I showing only this triangle? This is showing a right angle. And the longest side is the hypotenuse. This is the right angle triangle, and over here the longest side is 13 centimeters, which is why we take this triangle. It has a hypotenuse of 13 centimeters. Question 10. Aisha, Boris, and Carla have some sweets. Aisha has X sweets. Boris has twice as many sweets as Aisha. Carla has 3 fewer sweets than Boris. Take the expression that shows the number of sweets that Carla has. So Boris has 2x because twice as many as Aisha. Carla has 3 fewer than Boris, which is 2x minus 3, and therefore we can take this. B. Aisha and Carla have the same number of sweets. Work out the number of sweets that Aisha has. That means x is equal to 2x minus 3. That means 3 is equal to 2x minus x, which is equal to x. So x is equal to 3 sweets. And therefore Aisha has 3. Question 11. Look at this drawing of a cuboid. Work out its volume. So first we need to find out what's the volume of this cuboid. The formula is length into breadth into height. 10 centimeters is length, 4 centimeters is breadth, and 6 centimeters is height. So the volume of cuboid is equal to 10 into 4 into 6, which is equal to 240 centimeters cubed. So that's the answer. Question 12. Rashid makes some patterns using black and white counters. He makes a table to show the number of counters he uses. So pattern number, number of white counters, and total number of counters. Complete the table. For this, pattern number, total number of counters, both are 1. Pattern number, total number of counters. This is 2 and this is 3. What's the relation of 2 to 3? Yes, 3 is the second odd number. 5 is also the third odd number. Odd numbers can be written as 2n, which is an even number, minus 1. That's why the relation between pattern number and total number of counters is 2n minus 1, where n is equal to pattern number. So we have pattern number 4. 2 into 4 is 8. 8 minus 1 is 7. Now we've done that, we go to number 10. 10 into 2 is 20. 20 minus 1 is 19. We've completed total number of counters. Now we go for number of white counters. Let's look at the relation between total number and number of white. Number of white is 0, total is 1. White is 2, total is 3. White is 4, total is 5. All the time, the white counters is 1 less than total number, which means that for number of white counters, we get 6 and 18. And that's the answer. B. How many white counters are there in pattern number n? Now we know that pattern number relation to total number is 2n minus 1. And we subtract 1 from this to get white counters. So it's equal to 2n minus 2, or 2 into n minus 1. I will simply write the easier answer, which is 2n minus 2. See, find the expression for the total number of counters in the nth pattern. We have already seen this, 2n minus 1. Question 13. Here are 5 expression cards. A. Which two cards have the same value when P is equal to 3 and Q is equal to negative 1? Now let's substitute the value of P and Q into the expression cards. A will be equal to 4. B will be equal to 2. C will be equal to 9. D will be equal to 6. And E will be equal to 2. Now we have B and E both are 2, which means that card B, card E. That's the answer. B. Which two cards have the same value when P equals Q? Now we're going to substitute the value as though P is Q, which means for the first one, it's Q minus Q, which is 0. P plus Q is Q plus Q, 2Q. P squared is just Q squared. 2P will become 2Q. Q squared plus 1 will remain the same. Now which two cards have the same value when P equals Q? We can see that card B and card D both have the same value. Therefore, that is our answer. Question 14. Kumar measures the height of a plant. At the start of the first week, it's 36 millimeters. A week later, it's 63 millimeters. Work out the percentage increase in the height of this plant. First, we find the difference between 36 and 63. 63 minus 36 is equal to 27. And now we get the percentage, 27 by 36 into 100%. Is equal to 3 by 4 into 100. And then we can cancel out that as well. 75% increase. That's the answer. Question 15. The middle point of the line joining points A and B has coordinates 5, 7. A is the point 3, 5. Work out the coordinates of point B. So now we have the information of the point A and the midpoint. We need to find point B, which is one of the two ends. A
B, and this is midpoint M. So this is pretty much a line where the two ends are A and B, and we have M right there, which is the middle. Over here we have A as 3, 5, and the midpoint as 5, 7. Which means B will have higher coordinates than M because it's the other end, as A has lower. Now let's first name the coordinates of B to be X and Y. So X is the X coordinate and Y is the Y coordinate. Now because B is the other end, we need to use that in the mean function. What do you mean by mean function? Mean is a kind of average. Need to average both of the X values and both the Y values to get these coordinates. First, let's do the average for X values. 3 plus X by 2 is equal to 5. 3 plus X is equal to 5 into 2, 10. X is equal to 7. We know that X is 7. Now Y. 5 plus Y by 2 equals 7. Why is this? Because 5 is here and 7 is here. 5 is point A and 7 is midpoint. So midpoint is always the subject of the formula, like it's there in this as well. 5 plus Y by 2 is equal to 7. Now 5 plus Y is equal to 7 into 2, 14. Y is equal to 14 minus 5, which is 9. So X is equal to 7, Y is equal to 9. Just substitute it in. This is point B. 7, 9. Question 16. A domino has a percentage and a fraction written on it. So for example, this one, 30% and half. These are not equal, mind you. 30% is equal to 3 by 10, which is not equal to half. The dominoes are math, so the fraction joins its equivalent percentage. Well, what do you mean by the fraction joins? Because the dominoes have unequal things. But look at the middle. See this gap? On the left and right of that gap, there are two equivalent fraction and percentage. Half is equal to 50%. It's only immediately on the left and the right of the small gap between the two dominoes. So now 4 of the dominoes are joined like this, and write in the percentage and fraction needed on the blank domino. This is blank. We have a gap here. On the left is 3 by 5. On the right should be a percentage which is equal to 3 by 5. 3 by 5 is equal to 60 by 100. So this is 60%. Next one is 12.5%. On the right of the gap and on the left there is a question mark, but it is equivalent to 12.5%. 12.5% is equal to 0.125 in decimal, because 12.5 is equal to 12.5. Divided by 100, it becomes this. 0.125 is equal to 125 by 1000, which is 1 by 8. 1 by 8 is equal to 12.5%. Question 17. Write numbers in the boxes to make the following calculations correct. A. 3.24 divided by 0.4 is equal to 3.24 into dash by 4. 3.24 divided by 0.4 is equal to 3.24 divided by 4 by 10, which is equal to 3.24 into 10 by 4. And 3.24 into dash by 4, it's equal to 10 because that's the one included in this fraction. And this is equivalent to this.
That's the answer.
Now let's move on to B. A 7.9 into dash is equal to A 7.9 into 3 by 100. So both sides of A 7.9, let's cancel that out. Dash is equal to 3 divided by 100. Now 3 divided by 100 is, well, 3 by 100 in a fraction. And we can write this in a decimal as 0.03, and therefore that is the answer. These two values are exactly the same.
Question 18. Shade one more square so that this shape has one line of symmetry. Truth is, it's not possible to make a normal line of symmetry like this or this. We need to make a diagonal one. Not like this way, but in the way of negative gradient. How? By shading this square. Because now while we divide through it this way, both sides are equal halves. B. Shade 2 more squares so that its shape has rotational symmetry of order 2. This is not too hard. We shade this one and this one. So when we turn it around, you can see that it's actually the exact same thing. It is rotated 180 degrees and it's still the same. That's how we get order 2. Question 19. The stem and leaf diagram show the marks scored by some students in the math test. So we have the stem and leaf diagram and we have a key 1-3 is equal to 13. A. What's the range of the scores? Lowest score is 2 and highest is 30. 30 minus 2 is 28. That's the answer. B. What's the median of their scores? That's the middle score. So we have a few students. Let's count how many. 2, 6, 14, 15. So that's 15 students. And the middle is 1 plus 15 by 2, which is equal to 8. So we have 8, the 8th term as middle. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 22 is the median of their scores. Question 20. Work out 3 2 by 3 plus 1 3 by 5. This is quite simple. First convert into improper fractions, which means 11 by 3 plus 8 by 5. Now we make a common denominator. What's the LCM of 3 and 5? It's 15. Now 11 into 5 is 55. 8 into 3 is 24. 55 plus 24 the whole by 15. And the answer we get is 79 by 15, which is equivalent to 5 4 by 15. So this is the answer. Question 21. Bisect the angle marked in the diagram. Use only a ruler and a pair of compasses. Leave your construction lines. First, how do we bisect an angle? So this is just a random angle and we just have to bisect it, or which means cut it in half. So how to cut this angle in half? Let's take a compass measurement of any amount which is greater than half of the length of this line. So let's say these two are equal and this is the midpoint of both of them. Then the compass length should be from the intersection point to any point which is beyond the midpoint. First, let's put the compass needle at this point, which is the intersection of the two lines. Now let's draw an arc at a place which is more than half of the length of these lines. I'm going to make two arcs over here. These two arcs must be the same distance from the point. Now let's take the point where the arc intersects each line, and I'll put a compass needle at both of the points and make an arc from both of them. Now see the intersection point right there between the two arcs. Now we connect this point and this point. And once we've done that, that is the angle bisector. These two angles are equal. That's the answer. Question 22 looks at shapes A and B. Which of the shapes has larger fraction of itself shaded? Explain the answer. Now let's first calculate how much each one has. So shape B has 2 out of 6 squares shaded, which is 1 by 3. Shape A has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 half squares shaded, which means 2.5 out of 9 squares, which is equal to 5 by 18. 1 by 3 is equal to 6 by 18. So the answer is shape B, because 1 by 3 or 6 by 18 is greater than 5 by 18. That's the answer. Question 23. The table shows the properties of quadrilaterals. Complete the table. Tick if the property is always true and cross if the property is not always true. We can see that the diagonals are perpendicular and they have equal length for a square. Does this apply for a rhombus though? So a rhombus is somewhat like this. Diagonals are perpendicular. The answer is actually yes. Tick mark. Diagonals have equal length. Let's just draw a diamond so we can see this more clearly. It's a rough drawing and these are two diagonals. This one is slightly longer than this, which is not too hard to see, and that's why they don't have equal length. We can also see from this diagram that this is a right angle and that's why perpendicular.
That's why I tick mark this. Now a rectangle. I'm just going to draw a rectangle, a rough drawing of rectangle, not exact, and I'll draw its diagonals as well. Now I have diagonals are perpendicular. This is obviously obtuse angle. This is an acute angle. That means it's not 90 degrees, which is not perpendicular. Diagonals have equal length. Let's look at this mathematically. Now we can take a rectangle as two exactly congruent right angle triangles joined together at the hypotenuse. This is the hypotenuse for both of the right angle triangles. What do I mean by congruent? That means they are the exact same thing, the exact same shape, just maybe turned around a bit, like this one and this one. It can be flipped as well, but that doesn't change the shape size. As long as the size and length and the angles of the shape remain the same, it is congruent. Now, these two right angle triangles are congruent. That means they have the exact same hypotenuse. And we can also say that for these two right angle triangles, because it can be written as 4 right angle triangles in a whole rectangle. So if these two hypotenuses are the exact same length, the diagonals are the same length, and therefore this is a tick mark. Now let's see the last shape, a trapezium. First let's draw a trapezium. Not exact, but rough drawing. Something like this. First of all, diagonals are perpendicular. Let's draw the diagonals here. And let's look. This is an obtuse angle and this is an acute angle. And this is obtuse and this is acute. None of them are 90 degrees, so they are not perpendicular. Diagonals have equal length. Now, we have this and this. And yes, in the trapezium I have drawn here, it has equal length. But is it always true? No. Why? I'm going to draw a different trapezium like this. This is a trapezium, but this is isosceles, which means these two are the same length. These two are not the same length now. Now, let's draw the diagonals and compare them. Obviously, this one is longer than this, and therefore it is not equal length. Question 24. Hardy has 4 number cards. A. If the mode of the numbers is 4 and the median is 5, what are the 2 missing numbers? Now if the mode is 4, that means there must be at least one other 4 around in one of these question marks. Why? Because mode means the most repeated number, or in the most frequency out of a group. That means one of the cards is 4. Next we have a median 5. Now because there are 4 cards and this is an even number, we take the 2 middle cards and divide them by 2, and then we get the answer of the median, which is 5. Now we have 4, 7, and another 4 here. Because these are even numbers, like there's 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, and that's 4 is even number. Because of that, we take the middle 2 cards when we arrange in ascending order, not necessarily these 2. But we take the middle 2 cards and then add up both of them, and then we divide the whole thing by 2 to get the median, which is 5. So let's arrange this in an ascending order. So let's take 4, and then question mark, and then 7. Why do I put question mark before the 7? The reason will be apparent after some time. Now if we have the median to be 5, these 2 numbers, when we divide the sum by 2, to be equal to 5. 4 plus question mark by 2 is equal to 5. Then 4 plus question mark is equal to 10, and question mark will be equal to 10 minus 4, which is 6. Now it's clear why I put question mark before 7. Because I knew that question mark would be less. If not, how could the median be 5? If this was, let's say, 8, then the median would be 6. And if this was 7, then it would be 5.5. So 6 is the second card. B. If the range of the number is 3 and the mean is 6, what are the 2 missing numbers? I'll just erase this 4 for now. Let's take these 2 question marks as x and y. If the mean is 6, then the sum will be 6 into 4. Why 4? Because there are 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. And that's why we have sum is 6 into 4, 24. That means 4 plus 7 plus x plus y is equal to 24. 4 plus 7 is equal to 11. And then x plus y will be equal to 24 minus 11, which is 13. This is apparent. Now, because the range of the numbers is 3 and x, let's assume x is the biggest number. X minus any of these two numbers, we don't know which. 7 is greater than 4, so that's not counted. And the x, let's assume the largest number, that's not counted either. But then either 4 or y can be the two smallest numbers. So x minus, let's name either 4 or y to be z. Z equals 3. Now, let's first substitute and see if this works. So, if z is equal to 4, so x minus 4 is equal to 3, x is equal to 7, and then y is equal to 13 minus 7, which is equal to 6. So now x is equal to 7, y is equal to 6. So now does this work? For the mean, 4 plus 7 plus 7 plus 6 is equal to 24. Divide by 4 because there are 4 cards, that's equal to 6. That's correct. Now, we have 7 here, 4x, largest number, and the other 7 as well. There are 2 7s in this. But then 4 is the smallest number because y is equal to 6. 7 minus 4 is equal to 3, and that's also the correct range. And therefore, this is actually the correct answer. You can try substituting the other one where the smallest number is y, but that will not work because the range will become 4. That means the answers are 6 and 7.
And that's it for this paper. So I'll see you in my next one. Thank you. Bye.